Deep beneath the prairie winds of Illinois lie secrets that have puzzled archaeologists and historians for generations. From towering earthen monuments that dwarf ancient pyramids to mysterious tunnels carved beneath Victorian homes, the Prairie State harbors enigmas that challenge our understanding of North America's past. Tonight, we journey through 9 of Illinois' most perplexing ancient mysteries, each one a testament to the ingenuity and secrets of civilizations long vanished. These are not tales of fantasy, but real archaeological puzzles that continue to baffle researchers today. Before we start, I'd love to know something. If you actually live in the USA, which state are you listening from, and what time is it right now? Perhaps you actually live in Illinois and get to experience these mysteries firsthand. I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. Chapter 1: Cahokia Mounds. In the heart of what is now southwestern Illinois stands one of North America's greatest archaeological enigmas. Between 800 and 1400 CE, a magnificent city sprawled across 6 square miles of fertile floodplain near the confluence of the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers. This was Cahokia, a pre-Columbian metropolis that at its peak housed between 10,000 and 20,000 inhabitants, making it larger than London at the same time period. The centerpiece of this ancient urban complex is Monk's Mound, a colossal earthen pyramid that rises 100 feet above the surrounding landscape. Built entirely by human hands carrying baskets of soil, this massive structure contains 22 million cubic feet of earth and covers 14 acres at its base. To put this in perspective, Monk's Mound is larger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza, representing one of the most ambitious construction projects in ancient North America. Archaeological evidence reveals that Cahokia was far more than a simple village. The city featured a sophisticated urban plan with residential districts, ceremonial plazas, and over 100 earthen mounds of varying sizes. A massive wooden stockade, rebuilt multiple times, surrounded the central core of the city. Beyond the urban center, agricultural fields stretched for miles, supporting the large population through intensive maize cultivation. The people of Cahokia were master astronomers and engineers. They aligned their city with cardinal directions and incorporated celestial observations into their architecture. Evidence suggests they understood complex mathematical concepts and possessed detailed knowledge of seasonal cycles. Their pottery, copper work, and shell artifacts demonstrate artistic abilities that rival any contemporary civilization. What makes Cahokia truly mysterious is not its impressive achievements, but its sudden abandonment. By 1400 CE, this thriving metropolis had been largely deserted, its inhabitants scattered to unknown destinations. The reasons for this dramatic collapse remain hotly debated among researchers. Some theories point to environmental factors such as deforestation, soil depletion, or climate change that may have made the region unsuitable for large-scale agriculture. Other explanations focus on social and political upheaval, evidence of increased warfare during Cahokia's later periods, including the construction of defensive palisades and the discovery of mass burial sites, suggests internal conflict may have played a role. Some researchers propose that the highly stratified society of Cahokia, with its powerful elite ruling class, may have become unstable as resources dwindled or social tensions increased. Trade networks that once connected Cahokia to regions across North America appear to have collapsed during the same period. Raw materials from as far away as the Rocky Mountains and the Gulf Coast had flowed into the city for centuries, but these connections seem to have been severed sometime in the 13th or 14th centuries. Whether this collapse was a cause or effect of Cahokia's decline remains unclear. Recent excavations have revealed additional layers of complexity to the Cahokia mystery. Evidence of specialized craft production, complex ritual activities, and sophisticated waste management systems suggests this was a highly organized urban society. Yet, despite decades of intensive archaeological study, fundamental questions about Cahokia's governance, religious beliefs, and ultimate fate remain unanswered. The scale and complexity of Cahokia challenges traditional narratives about pre-Columbian North America. Here was a true city, complete with suburbs and satellite communities. Existing centuries before European contact, its influence extended across much of the eastern United States, yet its people left no written records, no clear successors, and no definitive explanation for their disappearance. Today, Monk's Mound stands as a silent monument to achievements we are only beginning to understand and mysteries that continue to deepen with each new discovery. Chapter 2: Woodhenge at Cahokia. Within the greater Cahokia complex stands one of ancient America's most intriguing astronomical monuments. Known today as Woodhenge, this circular arrangement of wooden posts represents a level of astronomical knowledge and engineering precision that continues to astound researchers. Unlike its famous stone counterpart in England, Cahokia's Woodhenge was constructed entirely of massive red cedar posts, each carefully positioned to track the movements of celestial bodies across the prairie sky. The original Woodhenge consisted of 24 posts arranged in a circle 240 feet in diameter. Each post stood approximately 20 feet tall and was positioned with remarkable precision. However, this was not the only version of the monument. Archaeological evidence reveals that Woodhenge was rebuilt multiple times, with later iterations growing increasingly complex. The final version expanded to over 400 feet in diameter and incorporated 72 posts, suggesting the builders' growing understanding of astronomical cycles and their desire for greater precision in celestial observations. What makes Woodhenge particularly fascinating is its apparent function as a sophisticated calendar system. The posts were positioned to mark crucial astronomical events, including the summer and winter solstices and the spring and fall equinoxes. Standing at the center of the circle, an observer could track the rising sun's position throughout the year as it moved along the horizon. Specific posts mark the sun's position on significant dates, allowing the Cahokians to maintain an accurate calendar essential for agricultural and ceremonial activities. The precision required to construct Woodhenge demonstrates advanced mechanical and engineering knowledge. The builders needed to understand not only basic astronomical principles, but also complex geometric relationships. Each post had to be positioned with accuracy measured in degrees, requiring careful surveying and planning. The fact that they rebuilt the monument multiple times, each version more complex than the last, suggests a tradition of astronomical observation and refinement that spanned generations. Beyond its practical applications, for tracking seasons and planning agricultural activities, Woodhenge likely served important ceremonial and religious functions. The alignment of posts with celestial events would have provided dramatic backdrops for rituals and gatherings. Imagine ceremonies timed to coincide with solstices, where the rising sun would appear to emerge from behind specific posts, creating powerful visual experiences that reinforced the connection between earthly and celestial realms. The construction of Woodhenge also reveals sophisticated organizational capabilities. Moving and positioning the massive cedar posts required coordinated labor from many individuals. The precision of the final product suggests careful planning and oversight by knowledgeable specialists. This level of organization and specialized knowledge indicates that Cahokian society included individuals dedicated to astronomical observation and the maintenance of calendrical systems. Intriguingly, Woodhenge was not unique within the Cahokia complex. Evidence suggests multiple similar circles existed throughout the area. Though Woodhenge is the best preserved and most thoroughly studied, these multiple observatories indicate that astronomical knowledge was not limited to a small elite, but was integrated into the broader cultural and religious practices of Cahokian society. The decision to rebuild Woodhenge multiple times raises questions about the evolving astronomical knowledge of its builders. Were later versions corrections based on improved understanding? Did they reflect changing religious or ceremonial needs? Or were they responses to the natural deterioration of wooden posts over time? Each reconstruction would have required significant investment of time and resources, suggesting the monument's continued importance to Cahokian society. Perhaps most mysteriously, Woodhenge was abandoned along with the rest of Cahokia, leaving behind only post holes and scattered artifacts to hint at its former grandeur. The astronomical knowledge that created this monument was apparently lost or dispersed when Cahokian society collapsed. Today, reconstructed posts mark some of the original positions, allowing visitors to experience alignments that once guided the lives of thousands, yet the complete understanding of how Woodhenge functioned and what it truly meant to its builders remains elusive, another piece of the greater Cahokian puzzle that continues to challenge our assumptions about ancient American civilizations. Chapter 3: Emerald Mound and Village Site. 30 miles southeast of the great city of Cahokia, another Mississippian mystery rises from the Illinois prairie. The Emerald Mound and Village Site in St. Clair County represents one of Cahokia's most significant satellite communities, yet it harbors secrets distinct from its more famous neighbor. Originally comprising 5 earthen mounds and an extensive village area, this site offers unique insights into the broader Mississippian world while presenting its own set of unanswered questions. The centerpiece of the Emerald Site is its largest mound, an impressive 2-tiered earthen structure standing 50 feet high. This makes it the second largest mound in all of Illinois, surpassed only by Monk's Mound at Cahokia itself. The mound's step construction creates distinct terraces, each level carefully engineered and maintained. Archaeological investigations have revealed that this monument underwent multiple construction phases, with layers of different colored soils marking various building episodes across centuries. What sets the Emerald Site apart is its apparent function as both a residential and ceremonial center. Unlike some mound sites that appear to have been purely ritual spaces, Emerald supported a substantial permanent population. The village area surrounding the mounds contained numerous houses, storage pits, and evidence of daily activities spanning several centuries. Pottery fragments, stone tools, and food remains paint a picture of a thriving community engaged in farming, hunting, and craft production. The relationship between Emerald and Cahokia presents one of the site's most intriguing aspects. Clearly, Emerald was influenced by and connected to the great city to the northwest. Pottery styles, architectural techniques, and ritual practices show clear Cahokian influence. Trade goods found at Emerald include materials that likely passed through Cahokian networks. Yet Emerald also displays unique characteristics that suggest it was more than simply a Cahokian colony or outpost. Archaeological evidence indicates that Emerald's inhabitants maintained their own distinct identity while participating in the broader Mississippian cultural sphere. Local pottery traditions continued alongside imported Cahokian styles. The arrangement of mounds and village areas follows patterns seen at Cahokia, but with variations that may reflect local preferences or different ceremonial requirements. This blend of influences creates a complex picture of cultural interaction and adaptation. The construction techniques used at Emerald demonstrate remarkable engineering capabilities. The large mound required millions of cubic feet of soil, all transported by human labor using baskets and other simple tools. The precision of the terrace construction and the stability of the structure after nearly a millennium indicate sophisticated understanding of earthwork engineering. Drainage systems and foundation preparations show attention to details that would ensure the monument's longevity. One of the most puzzling aspects of the Emerald Site is the fate of 2 of its original 5 mounds. Modern agricultural and development activities have completely destroyed these structures, erasing forever whatever secrets they might have contained. This loss represents not just archaeological tragedy, but also a reminder of how much information about ancient American civilizations has been lost to modern activities. The remaining mounds continue to yield surprising discoveries. Excavations have revealed evidence of complex burial practices, ceremonial deposits, and structural modifications that span the site's occupation period. Different mounds appear to have served different functions, some primarily ceremonial, others possibly residential or administrative. This functional diversity suggests that Emerald was a complex community with multiple social and religious institutions. The timing of Emerald's occupation closely parallels that of Cahokia, with peak activity occurring between 900 and 1300 CE. Like its larger neighbor, Emerald appears to have been largely abandoned by 1400 CE. though the reasons for this desertion remain unclear. Environmental factors, social changes, or events specific to the local area may all have played roles in the site's decline. Perhaps most mysteriously, Emerald represents just one of many satellite communities that surrounded Cahokia. The existence of these sites raises fundamental questions about Mississippian political organization and social structure. Were places like Emerald independent communities that simply shared cultural traits with Cahokia, or were they integral parts of a larger political entity controlled from the great city? The archaeological evidence provides tantalizing clues, but no definitive answers, leaving the true nature of these ancient relationships as mysterious as the monuments themselves. Chapter 4: Giant City Stone Fort Site. High atop a sandstone ridge in what is now Giant City State Park lies one of Illinois' most enigmatic prehistoric structures. The Giant City Stone Fort Site presents a puzzle that has confounded archaeologists for decades. Dating to between 600 and 900 CE, this ancient stone enclosure predates the great Mississippian centers by centuries, yet its purpose and the identity of its builders remain shrouded in mystery. The site consists of a stone wall that encloses approximately 2.5 acres of ridgetop terrain. Unlike the earthen mounds that characterize other Illinois archaeological sites, this structure was built entirely of local sandstone blocks. The wall follows the natural contours of the ridge, taking advantage of existing rock formations and cliff faces to create an enclosed space that would have been difficult to access from below. What makes the stone fort particularly intriguing is the precision of its construction. The builders selected sandstone blocks of varying sizes and fitted them together without mortar, creating a dry stone wall that has withstood centuries of weathering. The wall reaches heights of up to 8 feet in some sections, though much of it has collapsed over time. The skill required to construct such a wall demonstrates considerable engineering knowledge and organized labor. The defensive interpretation of the site seems logical given its elevated position and enclosed nature. The ridgetop location provides commanding views of the surrounding valleys and would have been easily defended against attackers approaching from below. The stone wall would have provided additional protection, creating a fortified position that could shelter a community during times of conflict. Evidence of ancient springs within the enclosure would have provided water during extended sieges. However, the defensive theory faces several challenges. The enclosure is relatively small and could not have sheltered a large population for extended periods. More puzzling, archaeological excavations have revealed surprisingly little evidence of intensive occupation. While artifacts confirm human presence at the site, the quantity and distribution suggest periodic use rather than permanent habitation. This pattern is inconsistent with a defensive settlement where people would have lived continuously. Alternative theories propose that the stone fort served ceremonial or religious purposes. The elevated location and enclosed nature could have created a sacred space set apart from daily life. The effort required to construct the wall suggests the site held special significance for its builders. Some researchers point to similarities with stone circles and other ritual enclosures found in various cultures, suggesting the giant city site may have served as a place of worship or ceremony. The timing of the stone fort's construction adds another layer of mystery. Built during the late Woodland period, it predates the major Mississippian centers that would later dominate the region. The people who built it were hunter-gatherers who had not yet adopted intensive agriculture or complex urban lifestyles. Yet they invested considerable effort in creating this substantial stone structure, suggesting it served an important function in their society. The construction methods used at the site reveal sophisticated understanding of stonework and engineering principles. The builders selected stones of appropriate sizes and shapes, fitting them together to create stable walls. They incorporated natural rock formations into their design, demonstrating adaptation to local topographic conditions. The fact that substantial portions of the wall remain standing after more than a millennium testifies to the skill of its builders. One of the most puzzling aspects of the stone fort is its relationship to other late woodland sites in the region. While stone structures are not unknown from this period, the giant city fort is unusually large and well constructed, compared to other contemporary sites. This suggests that either its builders possessed unusual skills and resources, or the site served a function that required exceptional investment of time and labor. Archaeological investigations have revealed evidence of multiple occupations at the site, spanning several centuries. Different layers contain artifacts from various time periods, suggesting that the stone fort continued to be used long after its initial construction. This pattern of repeated use implies that the site retained significance for successive generations, though possibly for different purposes than originally intended. The mystery of the giant city stone fort site reflects broader questions about late woodland societies in the Midwest. These groups are often characterized as simple hunter-gatherers, yet sites like Giant City reveal capabilities and organizational structures that challenge such simple categorizations. The investment of labor required to build the stone fort suggests social mechanisms for coordinating group activities and shared beliefs that made such projects worthwhile. Today, visitors to Giant City State Park can walk among the weathered stones and contemplate the motivations and meanings that inspired ancient hands to stack these enduring monuments to purposes we may never fully comprehend. Chapter 5: Modoc Rock Shelter. Hidden within a limestone bluff in Randolph County lies one of Illinois' most significant windows into ancient human life. The Modoc Rock Shelter, carved by natural forces over millions of years, provided shelter and resources for human inhabitants across nearly 10 millennia. Yet despite decades of archaeological investigation, this site continues to reveal new mysteries about the earliest peoples to call Illinois home. The shelter itself represents a masterpiece of natural architecture. Flowing water carved a large alcove into the limestone bluff, creating a space approximately 150 feet wide and 40 feet deep. The overhanging rock provided protection from weather while allowing smoke from fires to escape freely. A small stream flowing nearby ensured a reliable water source, making this an ideal location for human habitation. Evidence of human occupation at Modoc Rock Shelter extends back at least 9,000 years, making it one of the oldest continuously used sites in North America. The deepest archaeological layers contain artifacts and evidence from archaic period peoples who lived as hunters and gatherers long before agriculture transformed human society. These earliest inhabitants left behind stone tools, animal bones, and charcoal from ancient fires, providing glimpses into lifestyles that sustained humans for millennia. What makes Modoc Rock Shelter particularly valuable to archaeologists is the exceptional preservation of organic materials. The shelter's dry conditions and protection from direct weathering have preserved plant remains, animal bones, and other fragile materials that would have decomposed long ago in most archaeological sites. This preservation allows researchers to reconstruct ancient diets, seasonal patterns, and environmental conditions with unusual precision. The layers of occupation at Modoc reveal a complex story of changing human adaptations over thousands of years. The earliest inhabitants were highly mobile hunter-gatherers who used the shelter seasonally, probably during specific hunting or gathering activities. Their toolkits were simple but effective, including spear points, knives, and scraping tools made from local cherts and other stone materials. As centuries passed, the archaeological record shows gradual changes in how people used the shelter. Later, archaic peoples left evidence of more intensive occupation, including larger quantities of tools and food remains. The diversity of plant and animal species represented in the archaeological deposits suggests these people had developed sophisticated knowledge of local ecosystems and seasonal cycles. One of the most intriguing aspects of Modoc Rock Shelter is the evidence it provides for early experimentation with plant cultivation. Among the preserved plant remains are seeds and other materials from species that may have been deliberately encouraged or managed by the site's inhabitants. This evidence suggests that the transition from hunting and gathering to agriculture was not a sudden revolution, but a gradual process of increasing human involvement in plant reproduction and dispersal. The shelter's occupants demonstrated remarkable knowledge of their environment. The variety of animal bones found in the deposits includes species from different habitats, from river fish to woodland mammals to prairie animals. This diversity indicates that the people who used Modoc had developed strategies for exploiting multiple ecological niches, moving between different environments to harvest seasonal resources. Tools and other artifacts from Modoc rock shelter reveal connections to broader regional networks. Stone materials from distant sources indicate trade relationships or travel patterns that connected the shelter's inhabitants to groups hundreds of miles away. These connections challenge simple notions of isolated hunter-gatherer bands, suggesting instead complex social networks that facilitated exchange of materials and ideas. The preservation conditions at Modoc have also yielded rare insights into ancient technologies. Fragments of baskets, cordage, and other organic tools provide evidence of sophisticated crafting abilities that are rarely preserved in archaeological sites. These perishable technologies were probably as important to daily life as the stone tools that survive more commonly, yet our understanding of them remains fragmentary. Perhaps most mysteriously, the long sequence of occupation at Modoc Rock Shelter raises questions about cultural continuity and change. Did the same groups of people use the shelter generation after generation, gradually adapting their lifestyles over millennia? Or did different groups discover and reuse this advantageous location independently? The archaeological record provides evidence for both continuity and change, but the relationships between different occupation periods remain complex and partially understood. The story of Modoc Rock Shelter extends far beyond its final prehistoric occupation. The site was still being used when European explorers first entered the region, and historical records document its continued importance to Native American groups into the historic period. This continuity of use across 10,000 years speaks to fundamental advantages of the location and the enduring human need for shelter, water, and resources. Today, the shelter stands as a testament to human adaptability and the deep roots of human presence in Illinois, its layers of occupation preserving stories that stretch back to the very dawn of human habitation in North America. Chapter 6. Burroughs Cave. In 1982, a retired tool and die maker claimed to have made one of the most significant archaeological discoveries in North American history. According to the story, Russell Burroughs stumbled upon a cave filled with thousands of ancient artifacts while hunting in a remote area of Illinois. The alleged contents of Burroughs' cave would, if genuine, revolutionize our understanding of ancient American civilizations and their connections to the Old World. However, the controversy surrounding these claims has made Burroughs' cave one of archaeology's most disputed and mysterious cases. The artifacts supposedly recovered from the cave include stone tablets covered with inscriptions in various ancient scripts, sculptured heads depicting individuals with apparent Old World features, weapons, jewelry, and other objects that would be remarkable finds anywhere, but especially in the American Midwest. The inscriptions allegedly represent multiple writing systems, including Hebrew, Egyptian hieroglyphics, and various other ancient scripts that should not exist in pre-Columbian North America, according to conventional archaeological understanding. What makes the Burroughs Cave claims particularly intriguing is the alleged quantity and diversity of the artifacts. Descriptions suggest the cave contained thousands of individual pieces, representing a collection that would rival major museums in scope and significance. The artifacts reportedly span different time periods and cultures, suggesting either a long period of accumulation or contact between various ancient civilizations and prehistoric Illinois inhabitants. The controversy surrounding Burroughs' Cave centers on the fundamental question of authenticity. Professional archaeologists have raised numerous concerns about the alleged discoveries. First and foremost is the lack of proper archaeological documentation. The cave's location has never been revealed, and no professional archaeologists have been permitted to examine the site or conduct controlled excavations. This secrecy runs counter to standard archaeological practices and makes scientific verification impossible. Additional concerns arise from the artifacts themselves. Photographs and descriptions of the alleged finds raise questions about their authenticity among experts familiar with ancient crafting techniques and artistic styles. Some pieces appear to show modern tool marks, or anachronistic design elements that would be unexpected in genuinely ancient artifacts. The combination of multiple ancient writing systems and artistic traditions in a single location also strikes many experts as improbable. The scientific community's skepticism extends beyond concerns about individual artifacts to questions about the overall narrative. The presence of Old World writing systems and artistic traditions in pre-Columbian Illinois would require extensive contact between ancient American and Old World civilizations, for which there is no other convincing evidence. Such contact would necessitate transoceanic voyages and cultural exchanges that contradict the current understanding of ancient American prehistory. Supporters of the Burroughs Cave claims argue that conventional archaeology has been too rigid in its assumptions about ancient American civilizations. They point to other controversial finds and theories about pre-Columbian contact between Old and New World peoples as supporting evidence. Some suggest that professional archaeologists are reluctant to consider evidence that challenges established theories, leading to dismissal of potentially important discoveries. The mystery of Burroughs Cave is compounded by the secretive nature of the claims. The cave's location remains unknown, allegedly to protect it from vandalism and unauthorized excavation. However, this secrecy also prevents independent verification of the claims and proper archaeological investigation of the site. Without access to the cave and its contents, scientific evaluation remains impossible. Legal and ethical issues surrounding the alleged discovery add additional complexity to the controversy. Questions about ownership of the artifacts, proper reporting of archaeological finds, and compliance with laws protecting archaeological sites have created additional barriers to scientific investigation. These issues reflect broader tensions between private collectors and the professional archaeological community. The Burroughs Cave controversy highlights fundamental questions about how archaeological claims should be evaluated and what standards of evidence are appropriate for extraordinary discoveries. The allegations, if true, would require significant revision of our understanding of ancient American history. However, the lack of proper documentation and scientific access to the materials makes such evaluation impossible using standard archaeological methods. Perhaps most significantly, the Burroughs Cave mystery reflects ongoing debates about alternative interpretations of American prehistory. While mainstream archaeology has developed detailed understanding of ancient American civilizations based on careful excavation and analysis, alternative theories continue to propose different scenarios involving Old World contact or advanced ancient American civilizations. The Burroughs Cave claims represent an extreme version of such theories, highlighting the tensions between conventional scholarship and alternative interpretations of the archaeological record. Chapter 7: Underground Tunnel, under Alton. In 1982, renovations at a historic home in Alton, Illinois, uncovered one of the state's most perplexing underground mysteries. Workers discovered a carefully constructed brick tunnel extending 60 feet beneath the property, its purpose and origins completely unknown to the homeowners and local historians. This unexpected find beneath a Victorian-era house has generated numerous theories, but no definitive explanations, making it one of Illinois' most intriguing architectural enigmas. The tunnel itself demonstrates remarkable construction techniques. Built entirely of brick and mortar, it features an arched ceiling that has remained structurally sound despite decades underground. The workmanship shows professional skill, with carefully fitted bricks and solid construction that suggests significant investment of time and resources. The tunnel runs in a straight line from the basement of the house toward the nearby bluff, though its exact termination point remains unclear. What makes this discovery particularly mysterious is its apparent age and the complete absence of any historical documentation. The tunnel appears to predate current city records and was unknown to several generations of the house's occupants. Local historians and longtime residents had no knowledge of such a structure, despite Alton's well-documented history and the community's general awareness of its past. Several theories have emerged to explain the tunnel's purpose, each reflecting different aspects of Alton's complex history. One possibility is that it served as part of the city's early water distribution system. Alton's location along the Mississippi River and its 19th century industrial development required sophisticated infrastructure for water supply and drainage. The tunnel's construction and direction could be consistent with such utilitarian purposes. Another theory connects the tunnel to Alton's role in the Underground Railroad. The city was an important stop for escaped slaves traveling north to freedom, and many local homes contained hidden spaces and secret passages. The tunnel could have provided a covert route for moving people safely between buildings or to the riverfront. However, the tunnel's size and construction seem more elaborate than typically associated with Underground Railroad infrastructure. The timing of the tunnel's construction adds to the mystery. The house above was built in the mid-19th century, but determining whether the tunnel predates the house, was built simultaneously, or was added later requires detailed analysis that has not been conclusively completed. The relationship between the surface structure and underground tunnel remains unclear. Some theories propose more unusual explanations for the tunnel's existence. Alton's history includes various industrial activities, and the tunnel might have served specialized purposes related to manufacturing or storage. The city's river location and transportation connections could have made underground storage or movement of goods advantageous for certain businesses or activities. The tunnel's direction toward the nearby bluff suggests it may have connected to natural caves or rock formations in the area. Alton sits atop limestone bluffs that contain numerous natural caves and underground spaces. Early residents might have modified or extended these natural features for practical purposes, creating the brick tunnel as an improved access route or storage facility. Archaeological investigation of the tunnel has been limited, partly due to access difficulties and the ongoing use of the property above. What studies have been conducted reveal little additional information about the tunnel's origins or purpose. The lack of artifacts or distinctive construction techniques that could date the structure precisely has left its age and function open to speculation. The discovery of the tunnel raises broader questions about what other underground features might exist beneath Alton and other historic Illinois communities. Before modern record-keeping and building codes, property owners had considerable freedom to modify their lots in ways that might not be documented. The tunnel could represent one example of a broader pattern of underground construction that has been forgotten over time. Local geology may have influenced the decision to build underground structures in the Alton area. The limestone bedrock that characterizes the region can be relatively easy to excavate and provide stable foundations for underground construction. These geological factors might have made tunnel construction more attractive and feasible than in other locations. The mystery of the Alton Tunnel reflects broader challenges in urban archaeology and historic preservation. As cities develop and buildings are renovated or demolished, previously unknown features regularly come to light. Many of these discoveries, like the Alton Tunnel, represent aspects of past life that were never formally documented and can be difficult to interpret without extensive investigation. Perhaps most intriguingly, the tunnel serves as a reminder of how much about past daily life remains unknown, despite extensive historical records. Even in well-documented communities like Alton, significant structures could be built and used without leaving clear traces in the historical record. The tunnel beneath this Victorian home stands as a testament to the hidden complexities of past life and the mysteries that still lie buried beneath our feet, waiting for chance discovery to bring them back into the light of modern investigation. Chapter 8. Piazza Bird Legend. Along the limestone bluffs overlooking the Mississippi River near Alton, Illinois, ancient hands once created one of North America's most mysterious and striking rock art images. The Piazza bird, a creature of legend and artistic achievement, has captivated observers for centuries while defying easy explanation. This enigmatic figure, described by early European explorers as a terrifying dragon-like monster, represents a fascinating intersection of art, mythology, and historical mystery that continues to provoke debate and speculation. The original rock painting was first documented by French explorer Jacques Marquette in 1673, during his expedition down the Mississippi River. Marquette described the image as depicting a creature as large as a calf, with horns like a deer, red eyes, a beard like a tiger, a face somewhat like a man, a body covered with scales, and a tail so long it wrapped around the body and ended in a fish-like fin. The vivid colors and impressive size of the painting made it one of the most notable landmarks along this stretch of the Mississippi. Native American oral traditions surrounding the Piasa bird present it as a fearsome creature that once terrorized local populations. According to these legends, the monster lived in caves along the river bluffs and regularly swooped down to carry away human victims. The stories describe a creature of enormous size and appetite that threatened entire communities until a brave chief finally devised a strategy to destroy it. These tales present the rock art as a memorial to this legendary victory over supernatural evil. The artistic achievement, represented by the original Piasa bird painting, was considerable. Creating such a large and detailed image on a vertical rock face would have required sophisticated planning, specialized tools, and considerable artistic skill. The painters needed to work at dangerous heights while maintaining consistent proportions and artistic quality. The durability of the pigments used suggests knowledge of effective paint preparation and application techniques. What makes the Piasa bird particularly mysterious is the question of its symbolic meaning and cultural significance. While the oral traditions present it as representing a literal monster, the image might have served various ceremonial or spiritual purposes for its creators. Many cultures use powerful animal imagery to represent spiritual forces, seasonal cycles, or important cultural concepts. The Piasa bird's combination of features from different animals could represent a composite symbol with complex meanings. The original location of the Piasa bird painting was destroyed by limestone quarrying operations in the late 19th century, eliminating forever the possibility of detailed study of the original artwork. This loss represents one of many instances where industrial development has destroyed irreplaceable archaeological and cultural resources. Later attempts to recreate the image have been based on historical descriptions and early sketches, but the original artistic details are gone forever. Archaeological evidence from the Alton area reveals long periods of Native American occupation and activity. The limestone bluffs that once held the Piasa bird painting were part of a larger landscape of human use that included seasonal camps, resource extraction sites, and possibly ceremonial locations. The river location would have provided excellent fishing opportunities and served as a major transportation route, making this area attractive for both temporary and long-term human activities. The timing of the Piasa bird's creation remains uncertain. While Native American presence in the area extends back thousands of years, dating rock art without scientific analysis of pigments or associated artifacts is extremely difficult. The painting could have been created centuries or millennia before European contact, representing artistic traditions and beliefs from various periods of regional prehistory. Some interpretations of the Piasa bird legend attempt to explain the creature as a cultural memory of actual encounters with large prehistoric animals. Proponents of this theory suggest that Native American oral traditions might preserve accounts of meetings with surviving megafauna or large birds that lived in the region during earlier periods. However, the timeline and specific details required for such interpretations present significant challenges. The artistic style and symbolic elements of the Piasa bird show relationships to other rock art traditions found throughout the Midwest and southeastern United States. Similar composite creatures and artistic techniques appear at various sites, suggesting shared cultural traditions or communication networks among ancient artists. These connections indicate that the Piasa bird was part of broader artistic and symbolic systems rather than an isolated creation. Modern attempts to understand the Piasa bird must contend with the loss of the original artwork and the complex layers of interpretation that have accumulated over centuries of retelling. European observers may have misunderstood or misrepresented details of the original image, while oral traditions may have evolved and changed over generations of retelling. Separating original meanings from later interpretations requires careful analysis of multiple sources and perspectives. The enduring fascination with the payaso bird reflects broader human interests in monsters, legends, and the boundaries between natural and supernatural worlds. Whether understood as artistic expression, spiritual symbol, historical record, or cultural memory, the payaso bird represents human attempts to give meaning to experiences and observations through powerful imagery. Today, the legend continues to evolve as new generations encounter the story and contribute their own interpretations to its growing complexity, ensuring that this ancient mystery maintains its power to inspire wonder and speculation about the rich symbolic life of Illinois' earliest inhabitants. Chapter 9. Custer Site. In the rolling hills of west-central Illinois, near the small town of Campsville, lies one of North America's most extraordinary archaeological treasures. The Custer Site represents an almost unparalleled window into ancient human life, preserving evidence of continuous occupation spanning over 8,000 years. This remarkable location has yielded insights into human adaptation, technological development, and social change that have transformed our understanding of prehistoric life in the American Midwest. What makes the Custer Site truly exceptional is its stratigraphy, the layers of occupation that accumulated over millennia of human habitation. Archaeological excavation has revealed 25 distinct occupation levels, each representing different periods of human use spanning from approximately 7500 BCE through 1000 CE. This extraordinary sequence provides an almost continuous record of human presence and cultural change across nearly 9 millennia. The earliest inhabitants of the Custer Site were Archaic period hunter-gatherers who established camps along the Illinois River Valley approximately 9,500 years ago. These early peoples left evidence of sophisticated adaptation to local environments, including specialized tools for hunting, fishing, and plant processing. Their seasonal camps gradually evolved into more permanent settlements as populations grew and resource management strategies became more intensive. Archaeological investigations at Custer have revealed remarkable preservation of organic materials that typically decompose in most sites. The unique soil chemistry and depositional environment have preserved plant remains, animal bones, wooden tools, and other fragile materials that provide detailed insights into ancient diets, seasonal activities, and technological capabilities. The diversity of artifacts recovered from different occupation levels at Custer tells a story of gradual but profound cultural change. The earliest layers contain simple but effective stone tools designed for hunting large game and processing plant materials. As centuries passed, toolkits became increasingly specialized, with implements designed for specific tasks such as woodworking, hide preparation, and plant cultivation. This technological evolution reflects growing knowledge and adaptation to local resources. One of the most significant discoveries at Custer concerns early experimentation with plant cultivation. Evidence from several occupation levels suggests that the site's inhabitants were managing and encouraging certain plant species thousands of years before the development of full agricultural systems. Seeds from squash, sunflowers, and other plants show characteristics consistent with human selection and cultivation, indicating that the transition to agriculture was a gradual process extending over millennia. The Custer Site also provides exceptional insights into prehistoric diet and subsistence strategies. Analysis of food remains reveals that the site's inhabitants exploited a remarkable diversity of resources throughout the year. Fish bones indicate intensive use of river resources, while mammal remains show hunting of both large game like deer and elk and smaller species like rabbits and rodents. Plant remains demonstrate knowledge of seasonal cycles and systematic harvesting of nuts, seeds, and other wild foods. Perhaps most intriguingly, the long sequence of occupation at Custer reveals patterns of population growth, cultural change, and environmental adaptation that challenge simple models of prehistoric development. Some occupation levels show evidence of larger populations and more intensive site use, while others suggest smaller groups or seasonal occupation. These fluctuations may reflect responses to environmental changes, resource availability, or social and cultural factors. The preservation conditions at Custer have also yielded rare evidence of prehistoric art and symbolic behavior. Carved bone tools, decorated pottery fragments, and other artifacts suggest that the site's inhabitants engaged in activities beyond mere survival. Evidence of ritual behavior and ceremonial activities indicates complex social and religious lives that extended far beyond basic subsistence needs. Seasonal occupation patterns revealed through archaeological analysis show that Costa served different functions at different times of year. Some occupation levels suggest winter camps where groups congregated for extended periods, while others appear to represent brief seasonal stops during resource collection activities. This flexibility in site use demonstrates sophisticated understanding of landscape resources and seasonal cycles. The relationship between different occupation levels at Costa raises fundamental questions about cultural continuity and change. Did the same groups of people occupy the site generation after generation, gradually adapting their lifestyles over thousands of years? Or did different cultural groups discover and reuse this advantageous location independently? The archaeological evidence suggests elements of both continuity and change, creating a complex picture of prehistoric cultural development. Environmental reconstruction based on plant and animal remains from Costa provides valuable insights into changing climate and ecological conditions over the site's long occupation span. Evidence suggests that the inhabitants successfully adapted to significant environmental changes, including shifts in vegetation patterns, animal populations, and river behavior. These adaptations demonstrate remarkable flexibility and environmental knowledge. The social organization of Costa's inhabitants remains partially mysterious despite extensive archaeological investigation. Evidence suggests increasing social complexity over time, with later occupation levels showing signs of specialized activities, trade relationships, and possible social differentiation. However, the nature of leadership, decision-making, and social relationships remains largely unknown. Trade relationships, documented at Costa, connect the site to distant regions across North America. Stone materials from hundreds of miles away, marine shells from coastal areas, and other exotic materials indicate participation in exchange networks that spanned vast distances. These connections challenge notions of isolated prehistoric groups and suggest complex social and economic relationships among ancient peoples. The mystery of why Costa remained attractive to human groups for so many millennia lies partly in its exceptional natural advantages. The site's location along the Illinois River provided reliable water, abundant fish, and transportation routes. Nearby uplands offered hunting opportunities and plant resources, while the river bottom provided fertile soils for later agricultural activities. This combination of advantages made Costa an ideal location for human habitation across changing cultural and environmental conditions. Today, the Costa site stands as one of archaeology's most important contributions to understanding human adaptation and cultural development in prehistoric North America. Yet despite decades of intensive investigation, fundamental questions about its inhabitants remain unanswered. The relationships between different occupation periods, the reasons for continuous reuse of the location, and the ultimate fate of its final inhabitants continue to challenge researchers and add new dimensions to our understanding of ancient human life in Illinois.